This is why so many people say, I want this so, so bad. But something in me keeps pulling back. I know that this is so aligned, but I feel so frozen. I feel stuck. Your nervous system's job is not to help you create your dream life. Your nervous system's job is to keep you within the bounds of what feels predictable, safe. So when you move towards something new, your system doesn't register growth. It's registering uncertainty. That resistance isn't a personal failure. It's your nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do. That's not sabotage. Your nervous system is learning. If you're listening to this, I'm guessing you're somebody who wants more out of life than just getting by. If you're watching this, you'll see that I'm holding tea and sitting a little bit strange, but you can't see my full body, but I am kind of sitting strange. I don't know why I felt the need to share that, but I did. I just want to give you maybe like a friendly little pep talk, so to speak, that I wish somebody gave me, but that wasn't the case. So the first thing I want to start off by saying is you're not here just to survive. You're not here to like numb out of this experience, autopilot through life and just make it through another week. You're here because something in you wants you to participate in your life, to create, to express, to live in a way that feels more honest, authentic, more alive, more like you. If you felt yourself pulling back right when you thought you were about to move forward, that does not mean that you're doing something wrong. It might actually mean you're standing at the edge of something real, something really important to you. Welcome back to Return to Weird. I'm your host, Jessa. Oh gosh, sometimes I can't be serious. I'm your host, Jessa. And today, I want to talk about something that almost nobody explains. I'm probably the only person in the world that's going to deliver this to you this way. But seriously, actually, that's probably true because nobody has my embodiment because nobody is me. However, that does not mean that I'm the best person delivering this. You get what I'm saying. I want to talk about something that I think is really important that people may not be aware of or really understand, especially in personal growth or spiritual spaces. We talk constantly about expansion, about alignment, about purpose, being lit up and inspired and in flow. But why is it, can you let me know, why is it that we never talk about contraction? And by contraction, I mean, I can't do it. Fear, doubt, tightness, this feeling of I'm not ready. I still need to heal. It's not perfect. I'm going to fail. What if people see me? What if people judge me? What if I'm misunderstood and people come to my home with the pitchfork because I said something on YouTube? Well, what did you say on YouTube? I was talking about expansion. Okay. Why would people want to harm you for that? It makes no logical sense, right? But it does make biological sense. It's a biological phase of growth. And we should be expecting the contraction when we are stepping into or about to expand. Here's what most of us are taught, either like explicitly or implicitly. If you're aligned, it should feel good, like all the time. If you're on the right path, it should feel clear. If something is meant for you, it shouldn't scare you so much. What? That teaching ignores one very important thing. You have a nervous system, an ancient technology. The primary incentive is to keep you alive. That is a primary incentive of all organisms, right? Is it true that it's all organisms? I bet you there's like a handful of some that don't have that function. I'll Google this after, but for the majority of organisms, our primary incentive is to survive. And your nervous system has evolved to keep you alive. Your nervous system's job is not to help you create your dream life. Sit with that for a moment. Did you know that? Because when I found that out, I was like, well, that explains a lot, let me tell you. And it actually was de-shaming to understand that every time I move towards my dreams, I can't do it. Like something's wrong with me. No, it's because you have a nervous system and you're human and like that's normal. Your nervous system's job is to keep you within the bounds of what feels predictable, safe. So when you move towards something new, visibility, expression, leadership, or change, your system doesn't register growth. It's registering uncertainty. I don't know what's on the other side of this because I've never seen it. Therefore, I cannot predict your safety. We're not going to go in this direction. Uncertainty feels like danger. This is why so many people say, I want this so, so bad. but something in me keeps pulling back. I know that this is so aligned, but I feel so frozen in space. I feel stuck. I don't understand why I feel so much resistance. That resistance isn't a personal failure, right? It's your nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do. Most of us, especially if you come from a history of trauma or complex trauma, most of us spend a long glorious time in survival mode. And survival mode gets a bad reputation because it's, it sucks. But it's really actually intelligent. It's adaptive. And it's what allowed you to move through environments where you had to stay small, quiet, hyper aware, or attuned, environments where you weren't safe. So we learn that it is in our best interest to stay likable, to stay small so that we don't threaten anybody. If I can be hyper attuned to my environment, then I can predict the moods and behaviors of others, which then can keep me safe, because predictability feels safe. These are just a few examples. Obviously, everybody's experience, how their system adapted to survive their environment, is going to be contingent. I threw out a few examples that are pretty relevant to women, right? Because we've learned to people please, hyper attune. For me, this was huge. Like, don't draw attention to yourself. Visibility isn't safe. You're going to be burned at the stake like a witch. She's a witch, I tell you. I saw her put a crystal up her butt. I've never put a crystal up my butt. Ever. Let's just be clear about that. Okay, so that is survival, right? Now, when we choose to participate in life, to show up and create, co-create, we are stepping into creative consciousness. And creative consciousness is very different than survival consciousness, as you know. Creative consciousness says, what do I want? What do I want to experience? What do I want to create and see more of in the world? What wants to move through me? What happens if I choose myself? That's a massive shift, right? Massive shift from how can I just survive this day and get by? So when people say, I feel like my nervous system is working against me, what I hear is my nervous system is helping me to do something it has never done before. That's not sabotage. It can feel like it, right? But it's not sabotage. Your nervous system is learning. It's growing in capacity to hold whatever it is that you're wanting to create, experience, and enter into. I've been wanting to create a podcast for so long. Every time I tried to, I wouldn't get very far. The main thing for me was I'm just not ready. I don't know what to say. I don't even know what I want to talk about. That's not true. I had many, many ideas. The issue was I couldn't express it because I was scared. It was like I was blocked from expressing my most authentic truth. I would have a deer in headlights moment. I would freeze. Naturally, I walked away from that experience being like, yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not ready if I can't speak. If I don't know how to express, how am I going to start a podcast? That is the entire point. So I was like, yeah, no shit, I'm not ready. That wasn't true. It's not true. That was so strange. Yeah, my random noises are out of context. Okay. I thought if I was ready, I would feel confident, certain, clear, calm, But in reality, readiness can look like fear, doubt, hesitation, your mind coming up with 1,000,001 excuses of why you should wait because your nervous system just hasn't built the capacity yet. And here's the part that changed everything for me. Capacity is not something you can think your way into. It doesn't look like, oh, wait, let me find the moment when I was 5 and I said something to someone on the playground and they said, go fuck yourself. And then from that moment, I stopped being able to express myself. I need to go back in and heal that moment. And then I'll be no. Let me just stop you right there. No, we are no longer hunting unresolved emotions from our past. We do not need to do that. Let me speak very clearly here. If you're watching this, I get the sense that you have done a lot of healing work. You've been learning how to take care of your nervous system. You've done enough shadow work. And if that's not the case, then I just feel like you wouldn't be watching this. And I'm just going to trust the alignment here. I'm just going to trust that this video came to you because you were a vibrational match to it. So to build your capacity, we're not doing more healing work. Okay, what we're doing is doing the thing. We earn capacity through experience, through taking action. It's not going to be affirmations in the mirror. Your nervous system will learn it's safe from surviving the experience. When you are stepping into anything new, it is going to bring you to the edge of what is comfortable. So expect the fear, expect the doubt, expect the contraction, because contraction is required for expansion. You can't have one without the other, just like you can't inhale without exhaling, and you can't forever exhale without inhaling. The inhale is the expansion. You are breathing in life, and the exhale is the contraction. So it's all one movement. You can't separate it. When I did my first podcast interview, I was sweating. I was literally sweating. I felt like a deer in headlight. And then every interview after that was so much easier. It was the first one that felt the most extreme. I just felt like I wasn't even myself. And then that second one, I was like, cool. Yeah, I could do this. But yeah, my heart was racing. I was thinking, wow, who am I to be doing this? Who do I think I am? This is crazy. Why am I choosing this? And that makes sense. Nothing bad was happening, obviously, but my nervous system was learning visibility in real time, that it's safe to be seen. When I launched the podcast, I had a wave of fear, almost like I'm going to be persecuted. Fear, like a real fear for my life that was totally illogical. I know that. And I was able to be with it and see it for what it is because I expect it. I can segue into a whole thing about how women, this fear of visibility and persecution and judgment lives so deep in every cell of our being because of what women have been through. Chances are you have someone in your ancestral line, whether it's 3 generations back or 100, you have someone in your ancestral line, a woman who has been persecuted. Maybe she was burned at the stake. Maybe her girlfriend was. If not persecution or punishment for going against what is established and patriarchal religion, then you definitely have a woman in your ancestral line who's been sexually abused in some way, shape, or form. And that probably is not far back at all. Women collectively have a lot of ancestral trauma, and it really shows up as this like witch wound. It's this fear of stepping into our power and using our voice and expressing what is true for us and sharing our gifts with the world. These women who were burned for being witches weren't actually witches. Some women were just branded a witch and persecuted because they were not married to a man and owned land. Within like the 14th and 17th century, women would be persecuted because their crops were growing and flourishing and their neighbors weren't. So it must be because she was a witch. Like crazy stuff like this. A lot more women were persecuted than is reported. But anyways, let me not get too far off on a rant here about that. So these big fears that didn't start with us come up when we step into creative consciousness, visibility, and ultimately I survived. Here I am. And I think maybe we reach a point where not doing the thing is more scarier than doing it. And I definitely arrived at that point. And I still didn't feel ready, but I was like, I can't keep ignoring this because it would actually be more painful to dismiss it. I need to explore this and see what becomes of it. And I changed through the process, like legit. My identity completely shifted. It's just been such a crazy journey, and the outcome of it doesn't matter at all. It's this process that is bringing me so much gratitude and joy and aliveness. So I want to talk about what builds capacity and just be a little more clear about that. You don't build capacity by forcing yourself forward, but you also don't build it by waiting forever, as you know now. Right? You build it by taking small steps, staying present with discomfort. You want to be with your body through the experience, being aware of what's happening inside of you as you're taking that step. You're letting fear exist without letting it decide. It's now going from driving the car to being in the passenger seat. When there's this distance from you and it, you can create a relationship with it. Like, hey, I see you. I know this is scary, but I got this. I'm going to hold your hand through it. Okay. Scared little bitch. No, I'm just kidding. You don't need to eliminate the fear. You don't need to heal everything first. You don't need to feel confident. You don't even need to fake confidence. Do it with your voice shaking. It's okay to be human and be like, yeah, I'm scared. This is really big for me. You have courage for showing up and doing it anyway. Whoever you are on the other side of the screen, your soul chose you to incarnate into for a reason, right? That's not random. That can't be random. There's got to be an intelligent design that's underpinning all of this. I mean, I know that to be true in my heart. So the desires that you're having are not random, especially if they continue to come back after time of not acting on them. So whoever you are on the other side of the screen, what do you desire most? What do you want to create? Maybe you want to write a book, start a podcast. I said that so strange. Maybe you want to be a mom, find healthy love, rescue animals, travel the world. Whatever it is for you, you're meant to explore it because it wouldn't be there and it wouldn't keep returning if you weren't. Maybe you've tried to talk yourself out of that desire. Like, oh, I don't really want that. Even though it keeps coming back all the time, I don't really want that. Let yourself explore it. Even if just in your mind, in your mind's eye. Let yourself go there. Imagine what it would be like to live as that version of you. Whatever it is your mind is doing to talk you out of it, it's normal. But what if you didn't give it the power to choose for you? Your desire is alive. And fear is just this outdated program. If you're not being stalked and hunted by a lion or have a legitimate reason to fear for your life, meaning you actually are in actual danger, then fear is just an outdated program. And we don't want to give it the keys to our car. That's not going to be a fun ride. And sometimes we don't move towards the thing we desire because it would mean letting go of something we're not ready to release. And maybe all of us doesn't know that yet. There were parts of me that knew my relationship would not come with me if I was to step into this version of myself. And then there were parts of me that were like, no, it's totally fine. Oh, that's not true. When we step into a new iteration of ourselves, our reality shifts, our relationships change, and that can be really scary. We may not be ready to let go of those old connections, but we have to clear space in order to allow in something new. That liminal void space of like not knowing what is going to come in. You're releasing, and now you're like, okay, I'm waiting. We're in this like hermit phase that now lasts for a few years, and you're like, where are my people? Where is my soul family? Nobody is coming in. It's never going to happen. It will. In divine timing, you have to trust that where you are is exactly where you are meant to be. But you also have to be honest with yourself about the ways in which you might be holding yourself back, such as not stepping into the life or the thing that you desire, knowing damn well you've done enough healing and shadow work. Every contraction that you're moving through makes you more capable of holding the next expansion that's coming. The contraction isn't in the way of your dream. It is the doorway into it. It's like, hey, you want this new life? You want this new life, bitch? Yeah, you want it? Here you go. Are you going to walk through the door? You're going to deal with the discomfort because you have to allow this old you to die. You need to shed it before you can get these new wings, become the phoenix. I'm talking to the chair like it's, what am I doing? This is why I have an outline for the episode. Keeps me like on track, because if I veer off of the outline, stuff like this happens. Another thing I want to mention too is you have to allow yourself to fail visibly and for it to be imperfect. Like Talitha, a teacher who held space as I was like going through this process, she was like, your first pancake is going to be shitty. And I'm like, oh my God, duh, that's so true. Of course it's going to be shitty. So it's actually an opportunity to work through any perfectionistic parts you may have. And I think as humans, we all have some of that. You learn so much about yourself when you begin to do the thing. Like editing these videos, listening to myself and hearing myself is nightmarish. I was going to say was nightmarish. It's not as bad anymore. I'm getting used to it. I notice I procrastinate when I need to edit my videos because I'm like, I don't want to watch myself. I don't want to hear myself cringe, like gross. Blech. Especially coming from a history of like body image stuff. It's although I've made so much progress. It still rears its ugly head sometimes, but I see it as, okay, yeah, makes sense. Of course you're here right now. I just want to say that I'm genuinely excited for this new version of yourself that you're becoming, that you're stepping into, and this life that you're calling in and learning how to hold it. I think it's fucking awesome. And you're just a badass, weirdo wizard bitch. And I mean that in the highest regard. Okay, I just called you a weirdo wizard bitch. Maybe I will not edit that out. I would love to hear what it is that you're creating, what it is that you desire to create and call into your life, and where you're at on that journey. My intention for this podcast is to create a community of weirdos so that we can all just be, weird together. And by weird, I mean your most authentic self. I guess we'll park it right there. I hope to see you in the next episode. Thank you for watching.